Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Main Event Sports Status Show. I'm your host, Brian H. Waters. This show, of course, is brought to you by Happs TV. If you haven't done so, go ahead, download the Happs TV app. It's absolutely free. I know I say it all the time, but I'm telling you, it is the place to be. You can get all types of cool broadcasts right here. You can also sign up if you're a broadcaster, you're an aspiring broadcaster. Shout out to Heavenly Dude. Thank you for coming from Dallas. If you're an aspiring broadcaster, you're looking for that platform. Look, because let's be real, there's a lot of times that people want to get into the business, but they don't know which way to go about doing it. Happs is the place to be. It's a good place to, if you have an idea for a sports show. But let's talk. Today we're talking the AFC and the NFC championship games. We know this week is the second biggest week in football for obvious reasons. But I remember back in the day when I would play Madden football, and back in the day, for those kids who may not remember, John Madden, the Hall of Fame coach, was actually on the game at one point, and he would also commentate the games because he was a broadcaster before his name was used for a video game, and that was post-coaching career. It was a time when he would sit up there and say, sometimes the championship games are better than the football games themselves, better than the actual Super Bowl, because simply players know that they're playing against a more familiar foe. Sometimes you're playing against a division rivalry. In the case of Peyton Manning, in the case of Tom Brady, you're playing against a conference rival. So sometimes the division games, I'll give you a couple examples. You think back to the 2006 AFC championship game, the game between the Indianapolis Colts and the New England Patriots was far better than the Super Bowl that year. You may, check it. I'm trying to tell you, it was. So hey, Peter from coming in from Seattle. But yeah, you go back to that game. That AFC championship game was much better than the Super Bowl. And there's, obviously plenty of other cases. You're talking the Super Bowl. I mean, the first time Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs were in the AFC Championship, that game against the Patriots was better than the Patriots and the Rams Super Bowl. So who knows? I think no matter which way you put this, it's going to be interesting, because on one side you're going to have the young gunners, right? And then on the other side, you're going to have the old school guys. So that's the part that's going to be fun, because no matter which way you get it, you're going to have old school versus new school in the Super Bowl. And I think any combination of these four teams should be something special, and it should be something that's fun to watch. So I'm looking forward to it. Obviously disappointed my team isn't there, but it sucks, but it is what it is. I'm still going to sit there. I'm still going to watch the games. Obviously, I'll watch with less stress because my team isn't there, so I watch with less stress. But I'm a football fan, so I do have a team I'm rooting for, which I'll get to later on. But I'm a football fan. Shout out to Boris Cuba. Appreciate you tuning in. Pablo, what's good, man? Appreciate you coming in. Shout out to Pablo. If you guys aren't on the Clubhouse app, get there because a lot of cool gems on there, and there's a lot of the Happs community. So if you're on Happs or interested in learning about Happs, you can go in there and get an opportunity to really understand. So that's the cool thing. And like I said, I really enjoyed this great platform. That's the reason why I recommend it to a lot of my friends who are into sports. That way they can get on, because this is the place to be. So if you're out there, go ahead, share the broadcast. I'm getting ready to get into it. Share the broadcast with your friends. Share on your Facebook feeds. Let them know. Let's come talk NFC and AFC championship games. This is the place to be. More than likely, I will be going live or joining somebody's live after the AFC title game and giving a quick reaction. Um, giving a quick reaction to the upcoming Super Bowl. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Said more perspective. Well, at least they had a respectable showing for one round, unlike the Seahawks. The Seahawks, yeah, that was, I'm disappointed, Peter, because they were my team to actually get to the Super Bowl at the beginning of the season. And at the beginning of the season, to me, you couldn't tell me Russell Westbrook wasn't going to be the MVP this year because, he was looking really good. And I was like, oh, yeah, this is the year. He's going to do it. Unfortunately, he came up short. So that sucked. But nonetheless, they'll be back next year. I think, we'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to seeing what my Ravens will do, and I'll bring some more on that. So let's get to it. We got the NFC Championship kicking off Sunday, 3:00 on the Fox broadcast if you're in America, and I'm not sure any other places that will host it, but Fox will be the place to be. And on that day, we will see Tom Brady once again in a championship game. I think at this point in most of my adult life, he's been in championship games. This didn't go to my Facebook page. But yeah, Tom Brady will be there, and he is taking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to Green Bay, Wisconsin. So Green Bay, Wisconsin will, host finally. Aaron Rodgers gets a chance to host the NFC Championship game. He's been there, and it seems like at this point, man, this is what he needed. You look at, yeah, he's been to one Super Bowl and won it, but it just seems like every year, he gets there and something happens. Last year, they couldn't deal with the 49ers. A few years ago, we obviously know they had a lead over Seattle and ended up losing the game on a bad punt, not punt, the kickoff, the onside kick that went wrong in their behalf. So we'll see. But in the end, I appreciate Cameron for jumping in and passing the award. Appreciate that. In the end, I think Aaron Rodgers gets it done. When you look at this Green Bay Packers team, they are firing on all cylinders. And I understand Aaron Donald was hurt, but that Rams defense is something serious. You got Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey is one of my favorite players to watch. And he's home. Yeah, Tom Brady's used to playing in the cold, but is Mike Evans used to catching balls in the cold? Tom Brady throws that ball, and as we've seen in Super Bowl 46, he can throw the ball all he wants, but if the receivers aren't ready to catch it, that's a problem. That's a problem. So with that, I just think that this is a huge opportunity. And I think Aaron Rodgers will not drop the ball this time. He will show everybody why he's a bad man. Yeah, to borrow that off of TV. But I think in the end, Aaron Rodgers gets it done, folks. He will advance to the second Super Bowl of his career. Let me know what y'all think. Let me know, who do y'all think will win the NFC Championship game? If Brady wins the Super Bowl again, he will retire. You think so? I would like to think that. I think, it's an incentive to – it would be no better way for him to go out making history, Cameron. You think about this. No player has ever hosted the Super Bowl. Minnesota came close a few years ago, and then they got blown out against Philly, but they came close. No player has ever hosted – no team has ever hosted a Super Bowl, and this would be something Tom Brady could say he did, something extra. So that would be cool, and then maybe – just maybe he would retire. I mean, what better way to go on top than walking out in the sunset? We saw that happen with Jerome Bettis. We saw that happen with Ray Lewis. We saw that happen with Peyton Manning. Why not? But It just seems like Tom Brady don't want to stay home and take care of his kids. He's gonna leave that up to Giselle. So he says, I think the Packers will win too. Boris says, can we finally say that the Patriots didn't cheat? No, they took a competitive advantage, and I'm a Ravens fan. That's one of the rivals. It goes Steelers, Patriots, Titans. But no, I won't say that because you can't take players and deflated football is okay, maybe not, but there's evidence that they recorded. Tom presence in this game should be evidence. I think Tom being able to endure also has a lot to do with the rules changing. So that's one thing right there. But yeah, so I'm sorry, I don't know how to say your name. I don't want to say, is it Ndai D Day? I apologize. But thank you for tuning in from St. John. So yeah, I'm still trying to get connected to Facebook. We'll work on that. Let's see. Yeah, make sure y'all share this. Let me let the people on Facebook know, because usually it goes right to my page. Unfortunately, it didn't, but that's okay. That's okay. We'll get that straightened out as always. That's what I love about Happs, because they'll make it happen. But moving on. Let's see. There we go. Copy link. Yeah, so that's what I'm going with. I'm going with Tom Brady. I'm going with no, I'm sorry. I'm going with Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't really care for either team. Just keeping it real. um, I don't. But then again, my dislike for Aaron Rodgers I had at one point was because I was a Cowboys fan, and you saw what he did to them, and then Tom Brady because he was. I realized I don't like Brady in New England. That's simple. Um, but let's move on. AFC Championship. It's Patrick Mahomes. He will play. I'm pretty sure. Did anybody have any doubts? Yeah, he did get hit pretty hard, and his legs did look like spaghetti. But did you really have any doubts? He wasn't knocked out cold. So I had no doubts that he would play. He's a warrior. I don't think he takes this for granted. I don't think he's one of those young players. He seems well mature. So I don't think he's just like assuming, oh, I'll be there every year. But he's hosting a hungry Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. I tuned out a lot to sports this week. And the reason is, and when I say tuned out, I mean I didn't pay attention to a lot of commentary. I was on Twitter, but I didn't want to deal with all the back and forth of everybody explaining. Excuse me. I didn't want to deal with all the back and forth of everybody mansplaining what went wrong with Lamar Jackson and why Lamar Jackson's style of play don't work. Because, quite frankly, everybody doesn't watch all Ravens games. So, with that being said, I'm wondering, how does this Bills fan base feel? Are they nervous? Are they confident? And I think it's going to be interesting. This is going to be a very fun matchup. I don't think this is going to be a blowout. Yeah, let's be real. If Mahomes doesn't get hurt, I believe that game with Cleveland was on its way. It was trending upward. I believed it would have been a blowout. But when he got hurt, Baker Mayfield didn't do what he was supposed to do, take advantage of that, get some momentum on his side, and therefore he's sitting at home and not going to Buffalo. With that being said, Buffalo will be traveling to Kansas City. I really like this Buffalo Bills team, and it's a respect thing. But I'm wondering, will that passing attack work against Kansas City? They got the Honey Badger. I don't know if they're going to be able to just go out there. Now, granted, last week they were playing in some cold conditions. That game will be a personal lunchbox. That game will be at 6 p.m. On Sunday night, or 6:18. But yeah, will they be able to get out there and just, will Josh Allen be able to sling it? Now, I'm expecting more runs because, reason why they went out there and passed, because they saw what the Ravens did to Derrick Henry. But now Josh Allen doesn't look like he's going to have to deal with a lot of the wins. There was a lot of wins out there. So therefore, I think he'll have a better game. I wonder is this is going to depend on the Chiefs' defense. Buffalo's defense isn't a joke, but Patrick Mahomes is defending Patrick Mahomes is very different than defending Lamar Jackson. Don't be surprised to see Josh Norman get ate up. So, as much as I would love, and I tell you, I would love to see the Bills win this. I want to see the Bills win the Super Bowl, but I don't think it's going to happen, folks. I really don't. I got the Kansas City Chiefs winning this one by a touchdown. I'm looking at like a 40-30 score. I think a lot of points are going to be put up. And usually when I say it doesn't happen, but I do. I think a lot of points are going to be put up. I think this is going to be a fun game on Sunday night, and this is going to be one people are going to be talking about for the ages. Now, my good friend Mark Gunnels, he and I was on the show together. We was on About Nothing But Sports a few weeks ago at the beginning of the playoffs, and Mark had a nerve to say this. This is a preview of what's to come. Mark had a nerve to say that this matchup is a preview of the next big Manning and Brady. No, man, step back. Because no matter which way you look at it, I see Josh Allen as the Ben Roethlisberger in that situation. Remember, before we got Brady and Manning, no, I'm gonna double check myself because I'm not sure on that statement that I was about to make. But I don't see that happening. I see it still being a Lamar Mahomes league, and then we'll see what happens later. But no disrespect to Josh Allen, I think he'll be kind of that third guy. Let's look at, but in the end, I do think this is a Mahomes game. I think Mahomes win this one. And it's going to make for an interesting Super Bowl. I think Super Bowl 50, 53, 54, it says stopped. I think we're getting the rematch of Super Bowl 1, the Packers and the Chiefs. So, Vince Lombardi versus Lamar Hunt. So, but I think that's what we get. As much as I would love to see the Packers and the Bills in the Super Bowl, I don't think we're getting that. I think we're getting the Chiefs and the Packers. And it's going to be interesting. You're going to have the 2 number 1 seeds. And anytime you have the 2 number 1 seeds, it always makes for a fun matchup. Granted, it doesn't always happen that way, but it's always something, Said maybe a 4th. What you mean? You said maybe a 4th. But yeah, I think that's what we get. So, but it's going to be fun to watch no matter which way this goes. I do think we're set for 2 fun games. But I could see the Packers game getting ugly, folks. I could. Just saying. And one thing I want to address, Eric Bieniemy. Eric Bieniemy is the offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs. Word on the street is, I guess he had an interview, but Deshaun Watson wanted to leave because he wasn't getting an interview with he wasn't getting an interview. They didn't get him an interview. And what is so disrespectful, one head coach had opened and left. That's the Houston Texans, right? This is the same organization that had a owner say, don't let the inmates run the asylum. And like I said, Deshaun Jackson is like on his, ready to leave. He's getting upset. Yeah, they gave him a lot of money, so it makes it harder to move his contract, but he's getting upset. Now, here's the thing that I saw that really ticked me off. And that was when I was, on my phone looking. Oh, you know what? Good point. Good point. That's what he's talking about. Maybe for Deshaun. Yeah, Josh Allen isn't better than Deshaun Watson. You're right. That could be a rival, Watson and Allen. But I was on my phone and I saw that Josh McCown is being considered for the head coach. Josh McCown is being considered for the head coach of the Houston Texans. And I'm looking at it like, I was talking to my good friend Glenn Thomas this morning. I don't want Eric Bieniemy to take that job. Now, I have a job to take, right? And what I mean by it, I just pray that there's another opportunity for him somewhere. Because at this point, it's disrespectful. This man is a former running back, playing the league for 9 years. 9 years. He was the second pick in the 1991 draft. I mean, the second round pick, 39th pick. 39th pick in the 1991 draft. But it's disrespectful that he's getting a runaround. He can't get a ready-made job. Say the Detroit Lions, maybe, they struggled, but they might be in a better, I don't know. You could make a toss up about that in the Texans. But it's like, what about, the Philadelphia Eagles, all these other teams? And the reason why I say Houston, this is the issue. Look how bad they were. Yeah, they had Deshaun Watson. Yeah, they have J.J. Watt, but look how bad they were. That's a culture thing. That's not a talent thing. So that's what I have an issue with. I have an issue with the black man kind of getting the scraps once again. So at this point, I'm rooting for him to stay in Kansas City because it sounds like people don't want to believe in him. It sounds like that, Patrick Mahomes had to explain that Eric Bieniemy is on the sides of helping him and helping call plays. That is ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. And at this point, why? So part of me want to see him get another Super Bowl ring just so he can show off. And then I think at this point, either way, I'm rooting for the AFC, right? But he get another Super Bowl ring, and then he could go off. He should be able to walk into any job that he wants. He is responsible for one of the best. He is the offensive coordinator of one of the best quarterbacks in the game, and who will be one of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of the game. No doubt about it. So I think it's ridiculous that he's getting this runaround. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So we'll see, folks. But that'll do it. Wrap things up. I appreciate each and every one of y'all checking out this special AFC and NFC championship preview. Make sure you comment below. Let me know, who do you think will win? Who do you have winning these championships? And who's going to face off in the Super Bowl? There'll be a Super Bowl preview coming up. Those logistics are still being worked out. Until the next time, folks, I'm Brian H. Waters. So long, everybody.